What's up? So this is, I'm gonna call this my main application of lasers and video feedback. This is mostly when I do light shows. This is my go-to setup, my go-to configuration. So the laser is pointed at a black and white video feedback loop, which is being processed by, in this case, an Archer video processor from the 70s and a modern LZX video synthesizer. And so that's giving us the feed. There's what you're seeing on the screen is a combination of feedback that's programmed and changing based on patches on the video and patches with this modular synth, and then also a laser pattern, which I will turn off for a second. So this is just the video feedback right now. This patch is a combination of it's all sources and keys generated from signals generated by the video synthesizer, and then processed and controlled by the Eurorack synthesizer. I'm doing a little bit of keying with a module in this. So the pattern, this patch is just continually changing. It's continually varying. I designed this patch to specifically just let run while I was in the studio. And it shows kind of the range of like what you can do, what I can do with controlled keying and positioning keys and having keys be automated. All of this can be music synchronized to music or not synchronized to music. This is just free running, and in this patch there's variation in the position of the key and the degree of keying, as well as some color variation that is coming from the modular. And then when I add in the laser, what you're seeing on the video feedback screen now is the combination of the feedback and then that line that's going through it. I'll make it a little bit bigger. There you can see it better now. So that's the laser interacting with the video feedback. And I like to work with this a lot because it makes it easy with like a more static video feedback pattern. Like this one with the key moving around, there's a lot of variation. But with a more static pattern or with more complex, like kind of Moira style video feedback, you can play the Moiras and play the waves in an interesting way using a laser. So like in this case, I'm going to make the laser a little bit smaller. So right now, all you're seeing is a sine wave, a single sine wave from that I'm controlling, and I can vary it in different ways. It's all 100% interactive. I've got joysticks in the modular, or I can make it directly audio reactive. I've got different ways with the modular synth to extract meaningful information from sound, live sound input, and it's all the video synthesizer takes this video feedback loop, which is monochrome, and actually colorizes it with an analog colorizer. So there's a lot of color variation, a lot of options for shading and making it vary. I generally like to find like a nice pattern that looks good with the video feedback loops and the monochrome feedback loops. It's important to set the colorizer so that you can see the gradients. So that's something that I spend a lot of time focusing on. But yeah, when it comes time to play shows, I have a lot of options and I can do stuff like this. I'm just going to shut up now and play for a while and see where exploring this goes. Hope this is interesting, hope this is compelling. with different colors of laser and different modulation of the laser beam, we can get some different effects with the video feedback as well. Because the feedback loop is all monochrome, everything that we're seeing is a product of a relationship of luminance, and then processed by a colorizer. So it's less about the color of the laser, and it's less about like shading of the laser necessarily. It's about the pattern that it's making and how that interacts with the feedback loop. And like in this case, I'm using the green laser, so it's super bright, and it's affecting the feedback loop a lot, and it's interacting with the camera a lot. But with a blue laser, it's a little bit more subtle. This is also a pretty wild patch. This is like, there's a ton of feedback in this, a lot of crazy stuff going on the screen. So not the best example patch. You can't really even see the laser very well, but this is the kind of thing that I do for performance, and in performances I mostly, the process is improvising this to music and figuring out a way to make patterns that align with the music in a way that makes sense and that follow the emotional arc being presented, whatever the music is. Jazz, blues, electronic, noise, psychedelic rock, whatever the hell it is, that shit the Grateful Dead plays. So that's laser and video feedback, and kind of the kinds of things I do. As I said, I leave this running for hours at a time because I'm that kind of Spunion, but also it's valuable, I think, as an artist to just like watch these patterns develop over time and to see these things develop over time. And I think that there's some really interesting opportunities for exploration of color and space through the combination of video feedback and lasers. And I don't really see anybody doing this, to be perfectly honest. It seems like everybody gets like super fucking caught up in like drawing like ever increasingly complex Lesage patterns, and then they like get sick of using lasers because they can't reproduce enough imagery, and so like the laser has become this thing that's like planetarium bullshit, which is actually really awesome, and I shouldn't act like it's at all something to be discounted. But it's like there's nobody doing art with lasers like this and combining it with video feedback with a conscious attitude that I'm doing what I would have been doing if I had been a kid in the 60s and playing with liquid light. And hey, I'm a kid in the 2019s who's going to be playing with liquid light real freaking soon. Once I get the video mixer that's going to make all this stuff look perfect. But that's a totally different story. For now, this is just some more pretty patterns that you can get out of lasers and video feedback. So this is straight laser. Oftentimes when I can't do a full video projection setup because of space concerns or not having a projector or being too poor or being too in the mood to be a punk, I do shit like this. So in this particular, this is my basic, this patch that I've got going, this is my basic performance laser patch. And it's what you're seeing is a mix of 3 voices. 2 of them are independently articulated, and they're basically sine waves. So we got that one. We've got the ability to, with the particular processing on it, I can get these nice ringlets as I modulate the amplitude of it. And then I've got another sine wave, and these are on the X and Y axis of a joystick, so I can dynamically mix them and get some shape variation just out of the mix of the 2. And then I've also got a third voice that's those 2 oscillators ring modulated. And so, like, this is this is a basic pattern. This pattern has a lot of what I'll call resolution, because it stays nice and it stays in a nice, easy to follow pattern, and it's not attacking your eyes. Something like this, very cool pattern, looks great, but it's attacking your eyes, and there's not a lot of resolution. Great for a lot of times when I'm doing shows, the light show becomes a battle between tension represented with stuff like this. We have different colors too with the laser, so I'm gonna cut the green laser for a second and we'll go over to the red and blue so we get nice purple color. So a light show with just the laser is often, for me, it's an exploration of tension and release, and reflecting tension and release through patterns that are calmer or are easier to follow than something that's maybe technically interesting but a total neuron melter. So I like patterns like this. I like working with patterns like this because it gives me the ability to step back and control how it reacts to music and control the mix. between all these different voices and create variation. The way that I'm getting the purple laser, specifically the purple color, is modulating. I'm turning red and blue lasers in this laser on and off simultaneously, and I'm getting the blend by mixing using a VCA in the modular synthesizer. All of these laser patterns are generated using the synthesizer. I can take, just like with video, I can derive control signals or derive the signals that are driving the laser from live audio. But generally speaking, I think it's more interesting and I have more fun when I improvise the way that I would be if I was playing an audio instrument, but I'm playing photons instead of air. I guess I'm still playing air, but a different kind. So this is what's possible. This is also, the laser is a great thing to use with diffraction sources. I really like a nice Mexican Coke bottle, but it doesn't record very well. And it makes, the Mexican Coke bottles make for a great Lumia effect, nice scattering of some of the harsher elements of the laser. Lasers like this tend to have bright spots in parts of the image, which I'll go over there and point to one. You can kind of see it in these corners here. There's bright spots in the image, and having the Coke bottle, having something to diffract the image and mess with it a little bit, makes those bright spots less harsh, and it makes the whole effect more beautiful. Casts the light around in ways that are unexpected. Like this pattern is a little wobbly for me, but through glass it would look great. All the finer movements that are making it less, making it fit less within my parameters for a resolved patch would look great casting off of, you know, a sloped Coke bottle or any type of glass. But yeah, this is the long and short of what I do with lasers. There's a lot of variation, a lot of opportunity. Looks great with fog and haze and untaxed agricultural commodity smoke. And it's very performable. It's, you know, these are just synthesizer patches plugged into a laser instead of speakers. So I think about them in a similar way, and I think about interacting with them, and I think about performing and composition in those terms rather than running a lighting desk for a corporate event. Or a rock show where nothing is interesting. Alright, I'm going to stop recording so that I can stare at this for the next 12 hours. Thanks for watching.